No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You've got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing? Happy Monday, Bronco Nation. Welcome on into a live edition of Bronco Nation News here at BroncoNationNews.com. My name is BJ Rains. We got the one and only Mike Prater with us here for a Blue and Orange Store Monday. Shout out Travis Hawk's Blue and Orange Store. They got a big announcement, I think, actually coming today, Mike Prater. I don't know if you're in the know on that or not, but big news. We may have Travis Hawks join us on tomorrow's show, or maybe we wait and do it on Thursday when you're back with us, Mike. But I know they got some big things coming at the Blue and Orange Store. Congrats to Travis Hawks and company, and folks will be excited when they hear that. That's a big deal. So be on the lookout for that here shortly. But Mike, I hope you had a great weekend. Appreciate you as always for jumping on a Monday here. How we doing?
It was a spectacular weekend, BJ. It started off with golf, and I know we're going to talk about BNN golf here in a minute, but nice weather outside. I know you were out there doing baseball. I was playing some golf over the weekend, watching a little bit of sports here and there, and getting after it on a Monday right now. So looking forward to it, my friend. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. My kid missed his first grand slam by like less than a foot. Hit one off the fence yesterday, and it was a cool weekend of baseball. My other son, Nelson, they won first place for their team. So, it was pretty busy weekend. I think we had a combined like 11 games over 3 days. I'm sure you missed those days, Mike Prater.
Didn't really have to do the Little League softball thing. I was more about the youth travel hockey at 5 a.m. practices in January. So same kind of risk, reward, pain, and pleasure, but a little bit different of an environment. So I totally understand where you're coming from.
Happy to be back here on a Monday, though. And again, our title sponsor, Andy Rowe, RowPaint.com. Saw him out at the golf tournament and everything. Great people, great event Thursday and Friday. We'll talk about that a little later in the show, but rowpaint.com, all your painting needs. Make sure you hit up our title sponsor, Andy Rowe, and rowpaint.com. We're going to talk about Ty Benefield today. He is number 5 on our list of the 5 most important players on the Boise State football team. And we're going to get back to this discussion a little later in the show. But Mike, do you know off top hand where you guys had Ty on your list?
We had Ty, I believe we had Ty at 6 or no, I'm sorry, we had Ty at 4. He was our highest defensive player. We had him at number 4.
Okay, so we've been pretty
We're kinda
close.
close.
Interesting seeing your list and ours, and they've been fairly close for the most part. But yeah, we have Ty Benefield at number 5, and we'll talk about him a little later in the show. If you have a question, a comment, anything you want to discuss on the show today, or anything you want to bring up, you can get that in the ICCU YouTube chat. We're over there on the side of the screen. We'll get your YouTube comments on the screen, and we'll take those. We can take the Facebook comments as well. And I believe now we can take comments if you're watching us directly on X. So get your comments in. We are streaming live on both the KTIK and the Bronco Nation News social media channels on YouTube and on X and Facebook and all that good stuff. So if you have a comment wherever you're watching, drop it in there and we can get that on the chat and discuss that. And as I said, we will talk Ty Benefield a little later in the show. But within the last 15 minutes or so, Mike, column you wrote on Ashton Jeanty has gone live on BroncoNationNews.com for subscribers. And you got no concerns with Ashton Jeanty, but you said his offensive line in Las Vegas is a different story. Kind of a unique look at Ashton Jeanty here in the summer and getting ready for his season, and a look at the big guys up front that are going to try to help him have a great year here.
Yeah, Ashton Jeanty's been in NFL camp for a couple of weeks now, and it'll resume this week. All 17 former Boise State players will continue camp this week, and then they'll take a little bit of a break and do the mandatory mini camp next week, or maybe toward the middle of June. Take a month-long break before they dive into full-on training camp in July. So, yeah, it's NFL season, and when it's NFL season, it's certainly Ashton Jeanty season around here. Ashton Jeanty certainly comes with a lot of hype. I don't have to tell that to anybody on this show. But how much is that hype tied into the offensive line? Probably you can make a case that the Raiders' offensive line last year was the worst in the National Football League. Certainly the run game was. They were last in yards per game, per carry, per yards, per attempt, everything. They were last in everything. And they got an offensive line between about 5 and 9 dudes. Some of them are coming back. Some of them are new, that are just lots of question marks. There is every single one of these offensive linemen for the Raiders has a question mark. So kind of got to know the 9 men that are responsible for, or partly responsible for, Ashton Jeanty. He's a beast. But you know what? National Football League, you can't run if you don't have a good offensive line. So I'm kind of curious as to where the hype meets the reality when it comes to Ashton Jeanty and this offensive line. It's going to be one of the more fascinating storylines of the 2025 NFL season.
As you dove in and found out more information about this group, what kind of stood out to you?
Well, you know, the left tackle scares me, Colton Miller, and he's an NFL veteran. If you follow the NFL, you know Colton Miller's been one of the top 10, top 15 left tackles, but he had shoulder surgery 2 off seasons ago, really struggled last year, came on strong toward the end. So the anchor on the left side, Colton Miller, kind of scares me a little bit. The right tackle on the other side is pretty good. And the center, Jackson Powers Johnson, the Remington winner out of the University of Oregon. And we saw him and Jeanty right before training camp started in that really cool video where they were introducing each other, talking, touching each other's muscles and having a little bit of fun. I think JPJ and AJ can become new best friends. The 2 guard positions, the 2 interior positions where we know Ashton Jeanty loves to take care of his business, the A gaps, the B gaps. And certainly that's where Pete Carroll likes to go as well with the power run game that Pete Carroll certainly loves. The 2 guards are kind of a mess right now for the Raiders. So we'll see how that plays out in terms of those guards. And if they can build some depth, if they can get somebody that sticks healthy and somebody that can go out there and be dominant. But I really do worry about Ashton Jeanty's offensive line. I mean, I think it could be the difference. Ashton Jeanty's going to get 800 to 1,100 yards just because he's Ashton Jeanty. But if this offensive line is spectacular, and Ashton Jeanty has said that his goal, and I love that he states his goals publicly. He always has. He did it last year. You remember when we were in the Golden Nugget room and he said 2,000 yards. Check. He took care of that. Well, his goal this year is 1,500 yards and 10 to 20 touchdowns. For him to get to that, he can't do it by himself. He's going to need this offensive line.
As you mentioned, though, Pete Carroll, you mentioned in your column, Pete Carroll and that just style of running the football. He's always had traditionally a good running game, a good offensive line. Like, you got to have some, it may take a little while, but you got to have a little faith in Pete Carroll here as well.
Oh, absolutely. But that's the problem, the faith or the patience. Do I have patience to wait for Ashton Jeanty? Probably not. Does the Boise State fan base have patience to wait for Ashton Jeanty in this line to get better? Hell no, not going to happen. Pete Carroll, when he inherited the Seattle Seahawks, the Seahawks in his first season were 31st in run offense, 31st in run offense. So it's very similar to the situation that he's developed right now. It took him year 5 before he became a number 1 offense in the league and was dominant. So he had a pretty quick climb. It was pretty good progress every one of those 5 years, but it took him 5 years to become the most dominant run team. So, Ashton Jeanty doesn't have 5 years to wait. Ashton Jeanty wants to get stuff done now. I just think we have to press the pause button a little bit because this offensive line is so bad and because it's got a lot to prove. So we'll see how it plays out. But Ashton Jeanty is going to be fine. This offensive line under Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly is going to be fine, but I don't think it's going to be fine in that first year.
But as we all know, Ashton Jeanty can, maybe not every play, maybe not over the course of a season, but Ashton Jeanty can make any offensive line look great.
Yeah, and we talked about that in the column too. In terms of just busting tackles, he's going to make this offensive line better just by his own presence, by his ability to break tackles, his contact balance, and all the stuff that Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll have been raving about and that we've seen for the last couple of years. So, yeah, there's no doubt about that. But this is big boy football, man. It's big boy football. And I went back and looked at all the first-round draft picks that were running backs over the last 28 picks. I think 13 of them ran for 1,000 yards. 13 of 25, 13 ran for 1,000 yards and 25 of them did not. So, the precedent for a rookie running back, even if you're taken in the first round, isn't quite 1,000 yards. There's been plenty to do it. I certainly expect Ashton Jeanty to do it this year. I just wonder the difference between, I'll put it this way. The offensive line is the difference between a good season and a great rookie season for Ashton Jeanty.
Bronco 130 in the YouTube chat says, come on, Prater, don't speak for us. We have patience. Geesh.
No, you don't. No fan base has patience. I don't have patience. You don't have patience for your Jayhawks. I don't have patience for my Utes. Fans are the worst at patience, and that's okay because that's why we're fans.
It's Keaton says, Jeanty is already the second best running back in the NFL the day he steps on the field.
But what does that mean with the offensive line? Come on, guys. That's the point of this column. And that's kind of why I wrote this, because everybody's got their head in the cloud. You think the NFL, you just walk onto the football field. The NFL has chewed up so many unbelievably talented people. And I'm not saying it's going to happen to Ashton Jeanty. That kind of thought, though, is just kind of the second best because he's the second highest paid based on his what's next contract behind Saquon Barkley. Ashton Jeanty has a lot to prove in the National Football League because everybody has something to prove in the National Football League, and everybody in the NFL is tied to something else, whether it's another unit on the team, a coaching staff, the schedule, or whatever. And Ashton Jeanty's success is tied to the Raiders' offensive line. I think most fans get that. The excitable ones need to be reminded every now and then, and it'll all play out, and it'll all be fine. This is not an Ashton Jeanty negative column. It's a reality check column because that offensive line, as it sits right now, is really, really, really bad.
Bronco Nation update says, NFL, not for long.
Well, I think Ashton Jeanty will be in the league for a long, long time. Health pending. I'm not worried about that. And the long-term goals for him are going to be spectacular and just fine. The short-term goals, I can't wait to see what happens this year.
You can read the column at BroncoNationNews.com. Mike Prater on Ashton Jeanty's offensive line. It's a unique look at Ashton Jeanty in Las Vegas there and what some details and all the guys up front blocking him. So if you're expecting to root for Jeanty and maybe root for the Raiders this year, good look at what he's dealing with up front. All right, let's talk Ty Benefield. Let's talk about the golf tournament as well, Mike Prater. But first, we want to thank a couple of our great sponsors that keep this show free of charge for all of you to watch on YouTube and helps us have these weekly columns and appearances from Mike Prater. And that starts with title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Andy Rowe and Company, all your painting needs, whether it's those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, Andy Rowe and Company are ready. I will reach out directly. If you want to reach out to me, I'll connect you directly to Andy and his team, and they'll get out there and give you a free estimate, a free look. Highly recommend it. This concrete coating's the best in the business. We've had it done at our old house. May have to do it here at the new house at some point as well. Rowpaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics and our title sponsor here at Bronco Nation News. Hey, Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com, the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate them. Saw them out at the golf tournament last week. Great family, great company, and they support the local community in a big way. More than $400,000 committed in endowed scholarships to the men's and women's basketball teams. They are hiring as well. So go on into a local Treasure Valley Taco Bell location and apply for a job. The paperwork's right there in the front of the store when you walk in. And, oh, by the way, the food's pretty darn good as well. Check them out, Treasure Valley Taco Bell location. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Idaho Central Credit Union. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. I know Mike Prater was probably out going headfirst down the slides at Roaring Springs over the weekend. Hopefully he saved his $8 on his ticket by going to Jackson's. You go to Jackson's or Extra Mile, you buy 2 Coca-Cola products, and you can save up to $8, and you can use that 4 times at Roaring Springs. So go into Jackson's, get your 2 Coca-Cola products, and again, up to $32 in savings at Roaring Springs from our friends at Coca-Cola and Jackson's. Hey, Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio, and game locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. And if you are looking for a spa, for a sauna, for a pool table, whatever you name it, they got you covered. Check out their full options at thespateam.com. And as I said, some big news coming today for the Blue and Orange store. Really, really cool news for Travis Hawks and company. So happy for him, and it's a big deal, really big deal. It's coming some point today. The Blue and Orange store, theblueandorangestore.com. You can get all the coaches' sideline apparel, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, jerseys, you name it. The Blue and Orange store, and I may have another tagline for that here starting on next week's show, Mike Prater. But the Blue and Orange store, looking forward to what's next for them. And you can go order online anywhere in the world at theblueandorangestore.com, or just go into the Boise Town Square Mall there, the second floor next to Pro Image. The Blue and Orange store. And again, stay tuned for the news that is coming for them later today. Mike, we had a great time Thursday, great time Friday. It was awesome seeing everybody out there on Thursday at Western Collective for the happy hour. Friday for the golf tournament. I got a couple quick recap videos I want to play, but overall, just want to say thank you to you and Johnny for both showing up on Thursday. Thank you on Friday for coming and doing your show out there. Always nice to team up with KTIK for this. And we don't have the final tallies yet, but in terms of the donations and expenses and how much we're going to be able to give to the charity quite yet, but we'll be over $30,000 in 4 years of doing this event, and it'll be at least a $5,000 donation to the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. It was a great event, beautiful weather both nights, and I had a really good time, and just wanted to say thank you to you and Johnny and KTIK for being out there.
BJ, come on now, man. I appreciate you saying that, but we had the easy part. Ballgame and I had a blast. We had a blast on Thursday night, despite the cheap shots from the coaches up on the stage, kind of jokingly there. We had some fun with that. And then certainly saw Friday morning at the golf tournament, and you and Kelly and Tad and the gang out there at Timberstone Golf Course. Such a cool event. I love hanging out with those guys, and we've been doing it for a couple of years now. Dude, those are so hard to put on. The Thursday night social, that's so hard to put on. The Friday golf tournament, so hard to put on, and you and your small crew and your family do such a fantastic job with that event. And, you know, I loved it out there, and it was really cool. And I'm glad we got to sit around on the patio on Friday afternoon and do our show. And by the time it rolls around, by the time it's done at 6 o'clock, there's like 3 people left on the driving range, and me and Johnny screaming at the top of our lungs. And it's beautiful, and it's gorgeous out there. And do appreciate all you do and all your family does for both of those events. Nicely done, BJ. And it's really cool to see Tim Brady, Idaho Youth Sports Commission, becoming the benefactor of this. He had some fun out there at the golf tournament on Friday as well. So overall, guys, it's such a spectacular event, and you already can't wait for next year.
Oh, we'll get to your pump, pass, and kick competition in a minute. But, I also want to think, it was pretty surreal, to be honest, on Thursday night. You've got Spencer Danielson there. You've got Leon Rice there. You've got Jeremiah Dickey there. I mean, Mike Burns, others. But, I mean, to have the head coaches of the football and the basketball team and the athletic director, all three, the big trio of, power names at Boise State, all giving up their time and volunteering and coming. It was just a pretty cool event. And our man Ethan Freeman does some video work for us. If you missed the happy hour, you better be coming next year. Maybe this video will make you want to come next year. The Thursday night happy hour, Western Collective. Big shout out to them, by the way. Mike Prater, great beverages, great time out there on the beer garden. They shut down their entire place to host us. But here's a quick recap of the Thursday night happy hour event at Western Collective, sponsored by our friends at Circa Sports.
Thanks, BJ. What a great place to gear up for a golf tournament. Western Collective. Well done. Ready to get ready for the season. Sandbar, that's hard. That's really hard. I remember pictures of that game, and especially taking the field and hearing the roar of Bronco Nation. That was a home game for Boise State. Always need a bucket. On November 15th.
Yeah, Jeremiah Dickey and Mike Prater standing over on the side laughing. I'm not sure what that was about, but it was pretty cool. Heard some stories and things. We had, Spencer up there by himself a little bit, Spencer and Leon together, and then Mike Burns and Leon got up there together. And shout out to Jay Tuss for hosting the event. Did a tremendous job hosting the Q&A. And in all transparency, I never really said much about Jeremiah Dickey because I didn't think he was coming. And not only did he just show up, he got up there and answered some questions from Jay Tuss. It was a pretty cool little kind of laid back environment. Not a lot of huge breaking news or anything, but we talked a little basketball schedule, talked a little Pac-12, some of that stuff. But overall, I think if folks that came certainly thought they got their money's worth, Mike.
And, the one little nugget that came out of Jeremiah Dickey was that he expects movement by July 1st of this year in terms of the media rights package. Probably not the 8th and final member or the 8th member of this new Pac-12 moving forward. The official deadline to make this decision or to make this move is July 1st, 2026. So Jeremiah Dickey up on that stage did say that he expects movement. I think that was his phrase. I expect movement by July 1st of this year. So hopefully sometime in the month of June, we're going to get that media rights package. BJ, if I could just steal this, and we do a soapbox, Johnny and I, every single day on Idaho Sports Talk, but I want to steal like 30 quick seconds here. And I just wanted to go back because I had a really strong feeling from that show on Thursday night when I saw those guys up on stage because it was different and it was unique. And I got a little emotional about it. Not an emotional in the sense that Prater was going to shed a tear, but I will never forget the power trio of Gene Blameyer, Chris Peterson, and Bob Custer. I thought that was one of the most dynamic power trios in college football at the time because based on what they did, certainly based on what they did at Boise State, and that trio will never be replaced. It was a power trio that took Boise State to crazy, crazy new places. Watching Spencer Danielson, watching Leon Rice, and watching Jeremiah Dickey up on that stage on Thursday night, not all together. Sometimes they were together, sometimes it was mixing and matching, but they were all three had this stage presence up there. It doesn't match the power of the three that I just talked about, but they do something completely different that I think is so unique and so strong to this community. The community vibe, the community connection. Gene Blameyer was never a great community guy. Chris Peterson was just a football coach. And Leon Rice is the best basketball coach that Boise State's ever had. So now you put Spencer Danielson in there, a community-minded dude. You put Jeremiah Dickey in there, who's willing to shake the hands of every single booster and hear their stories and pet their dogs and kiss their babies. I thought it was very, very powerful. And for you to bring all three of them together on the same stage and have those kinds of conversations in front of, 200-300 people? I'm not sure how many people were there, at least a couple of hundred. I thought it was very, very powerful and very, very unique that this community connection, the previous three had a power. This three right now has a community connection that I think is really strong and really cool. And I don't think you should ever forget that. Individually, we love all three of those guys, but collectively, I don't think the three of them get enough. And it was full on display on Thursday night. And I thought it was a really cool deal.
Well said, Mike Prater. Well said. And then we went from Thursday to the Friday golf tournament, and I kept waiting for something to go wrong. People kept saying, how's it going? And I kept waiting, and the shoe never dropped. I mean, it was a beautiful weather day. But even when the golf ended, by 2 o'clock or 2:30, it was still not super hot yet. The lunch was great. There was some games and events at a lot of the holes. And in this recap video, you may or may not see Mike Prater drain a real nice long putt. It made the video, so your one shot your team used a view of the day. We tricked everybody, but if you missed the golf tournament Friday morning, 34 teams, sold out crowds, sold out. It just could not have gone better. Here's the quick recap from the Friday golf event out there at Timberstone.
Out here for the 4th annual Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament at Timberstone Golf Course in Caldwell. Beautiful day today. Getting a chance to raise money for a great cause, the Idaho Youth Sports Commission, and just some great people that have been involved from year one, and we're just very appreciative, and it was a beautiful day. Let's go! We had some great sponsors RowPaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, and our title sponsors, and just a fun day. A lot of good people that like supporting the community and like helping out, and every year this is one of the funnest days of the year for me, and you get Coach Rice and Coach Burns and Dirk Cutter out here as well, and some other celebrities. Just fun to play around the golf and have some food and drinks and have a good time and help a good cause. We've raised over $25,000 in 3 years of doing this tournament. This should push us over $30,000 in the last 4 years, and so just very appreciative and thankful. And this money's going to a good cause, and just can't say enough about how great of a day it was. Congratulations! Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, there you go. 4 years in the books, and again, Ethan Freeman putting that awesome recap video together. And I told him, hey man, I know this is a quick turnaround, but I'd like to play both of those on Monday's show if possible. So I know most of Ethan's weekend was putting those two videos together. But great time. And yes, I'll say this, Mike Prater, too. I had never had the Orange Chaos Seltzer. This being at the Thursday night event. And Melinda here says the only thing missing from the golf tournament were the Orange Chaos Seltzers for the ladies. But I mean, I would have had some of those myself. They were I think it's orange pineapple. I don't know the exact flavor of that thing, but the Orange Chaos Seltzers on Thursday night were a huge hit. I may need to find where I can purchase some of those. But the Friday event was just as cool as the Thursday event as well. And Dirk Cutter was out there. I know the first 9 holes. So Dirk and Leon let us raffle them off, and anybody could put in a raffle ticket and then get the chance to win, to play with Dirk or Leon. And thank you to both those guys for kind of volunteering to play with a random group, whoever won the raffle. First 9 holes, Dirk Cutter was the easy best player in his group. I think he said he used every single one of his shots. So it was basically Dirk Cutter's score for the first 9 holes. When he joined his second group, he said he wasn't sure they used one of his shots. That group must have been pretty good. But overall, it was great seeing Dirk out there and Leon. And I know Mike Burns was playing with the Atkinson's group. It was, and we had the street tacos. Was that your favorite hole there? Our friends at Signature Roofing had the tacos going. We had the circle hole, had the hot dogs with the Morales brothers. It was a nice mix of games and things at the holes, Mike, and it was a fun day.
Oh, it was so spectacular. What a cool video, too. And can you afford that? That was professionally done, nicely done. And kudos to, I can't remember what you said, the guys.
I did say the donation to the charity might be a little less this year. There might be a reason.
No, that was cool. And it just makes it look like the event that it is. So I know there wasn't as many people out there this year as last year because you did the double session last year. I thought it was perfect this year. It wasn't overly crowded. It ran pretty smoothly. It was a really, really cool time. And just when you go out there like that, you don't want to worry about the stupid things that get in the way. You just want to put a big fat smile on your face and have a lot of fun, play some golf with your buddies, tease your other buddies, and have a little food and stuff like that. It was absolutely perfect day at the golf course. So again, nicely done, and I appreciate you putting that together.
Josh says they didn't even walk away with the free vehicle. I don't believe, no, nobody won the hole-in-one. Lithia Ford had the Bronco Sport out there ready to hand the keys to Mike Prater. Did you even get it off the green on hole 6?
I did not get it on the green on hole 6. I'm not sure. We had a kind of a golf pro. We had a ringer on our team, Mike Thornton. Shout out there to you, my friend. But I'm not sure we got close to that one. So the car is definitely safe. Although I have to say that our team did finish third. I think we were only one spot out. I was told that the tiebreaker was one of my birdie putts on one of the holes was the tiebreaker because there was a tie for third. So we finished third. And I think that there were some gift cards involved. And from what I understand, my teammates, while we were on the radio, gave all my gift card stuff to the cart girl, which is perfectly fine, but it just kind of made me laugh. So for the record, I'm a third-place golfer, damn it.
Yes, your team of Jake Forsyth, Andy Clark, Mike Musgrave, Mike Thornton, and Mike Prater. 59 was your guys. It sounded like a legit 59 there. Third place, scorecard playoff. Congratulations to that. Our second place winners, they were, I just had it here. Our second place winners was the Capital Paving Group. Shout out Garrett Collingham, former tight end. His group with Cade, Connor, Trey, and Roddy got second place with a 52. And then our winners, my friend Chris Grizzle, but he had Mitch Skaggs, Jesse Hibbler, John Van Dyke, and Brett Koch, some former, like almost semi-pro golfers on there, and at least one Boise State golfer on there from the past. So they shot a 51, and they only used one legit mulligan. I guess they got to hole 18, Mike, and still had like 5 mulligans left, so just started firing them on the last hole to try to see if they could, 8 or whatever from out there. But 51, a legit 51. That's, I believe, a 21 under par, or a 20. What's the par out there? 70, 71?
I think it's 72. I think it's 72.
So a 21 under par, but I mean, it was a legit 21 under par yeah, beautiful day, great time. And again, make plans already now for next year. It'll be the same Thursday and Friday after Memorial Day. Looking forward to that. I was super, I thought the happy hour event was a big plus, and I'm going to try to keep making that even bigger and better, and appreciate to everyone that made it out. So, all right, let's get back to Ty Benefield, our number 5 player on this list, but I do want to thank a couple more quick sponsors real quick. Mike Prater, Lithia Ford of Boise, our great sponsor here. We appreciate them, and like I said, they're sponsoring the hole-in-one out there, but buying a used vehicle, it makes more sense than ever, and Lithia Ford of Boise's certified pre-owned vehicles give you more for your money. Each vehicle is inspected with issues addressed to ensure customers get a pre-owned vehicle they can be proud of and proud to own. Check out their lot, Fairview and Maple Grove. You can visit lithiafordboise.com. Do what the Reigns family did. Purchase a pre-owned vehicle from Lithia Ford of Boise. Our man, Matt Bauscher, was sad that he was on a family vacation this year and couldn't make it, but I always appreciate Matt and his support for Bronco Nation News. When you buy or sell a home with Matt and his team, you get to meet everybody in the picture there. Bauscher Real Estate, BauscherRealEstate.com. Best in the business. I know everybody that knows like 5 friends or family members that are realtors, but if you want someone that's going to fight for you, give you the best deal possible, make sure you shout out Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. They got locations across the Treasure Valley, across the state of Idaho, across the surrounding states. You can download that Skip app, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. Again, Ridley's Family Markets online at shopridleys.com. You looking for a job? What about the trucking industry? Maybe you've never thought about the trucking industry, but it is booming right now. Transportation Compliance Service can help sign you up. All the paperwork, overweight, DOT permits, everything you need to get out there, towing that first load in no time. They can help you do it. It's a local company helping out folks all over the world at transcompservice.com. And if you like something on the show, if you didn't like something on the show, please let us know. Leave us a voicemail. Speakpipe.com/BNN. The Signature Roofing team is sponsoring this. We appreciate them. Signature Roofing online at mysignatureroofing.com. Whether it's a re-roof, an estimate, a repair, an inspection, all your roofing needs, they got you covered. Signature Roofing online at mysignatureroofing.com. And again, leave us that voicemail at speakpipe.com/BNN. All right, couple of quick comments here. Dakota Taylor was part of the group that played with Dirk Cutter in the first 9. He said, I confirm we used a lot of his shots. He says the rest of the group did finally pull it together on hole 9. So, okay, maybe Dirk shots, but most of them. But hope you had fun, Dakota. That's a pretty cool experience for you. All right, number 5 on our list. We're down into the final 5 this week, Mike Prater. The 5 most important players on the Boise State football team heading into 2025. And we did ours, in terms of like people were freaking out. We had Sire Gaines number 9, not number 2 or 3. And it's like, well, yes, individually, Sire Gaines is one of the 2 or 3 best, probably, players, on this team and will have a huge impact. But you have Malik Sherrod, you have Dylan Riley, you have Breezy Dubar. So maybe his impact is a little lower just because of the other guys at his position. And so I know I've had some pushback on how could you have a guy like Sire Gaines that low? So we put in some other factors in terms of depth at the position, how much, playing time they're going to get versus other guys sharing carries, things like that. Like if a Sire Gaines went down, yes, it would be a big blow, but is that as big of a blow if a Ty Benefield or if a Maddox Madsen went down or something like that? So that's kind of the backstory here, and hopefully that makes sense to people.
Yeah, and to support what you said, we didn't have Sire Gaines in the top 10 of our most important players. And we had some internal battles here between me, Johnny, and Bob about that in terms of where he should put it. But I 100% agree with everything you just said, and you probably explained it when you did the Sire Gaines show. Collectively, the running back room is probably 1, 2, or 3 in terms of the importance. But if you have 4 dudes that can start, And right now, I'm not sure Sire Gaines is the best of those four. Sire Gaines might even be number 2, number 3. Now, if he's healthy and he gets the opportunities, he's going to grow and rise really, really fast. But I completely support you on that one. We didn't have Sire Gaines in our top 10 of the most important players on our list.
Perfect. I think we had him at number 9, so I feel a little better about that now. Bronco 130 does say, which running back is Johnny currently crushing on?
He's still crushing on Ashton Jeanty. He's an Ashton Jeanty guy and will always be an Ashton. He thinks Ashton Jeanty is going to win the Heisman Trophy this year in the National Football League.
All right, Ty Benefield, number 5 on our list, safety, and I already had a question there about is he going to get any reps at wide receiver, and I think that was a fun, cute spring storyline, as we said at the time, that I would be surprised if that thing lasts on to anything, any moving forward. But Ty Benefield, go ahead, Mike.
No, agreed. I agreed. 100% agree on that one.
Yeah, Ty Benefield obviously came in 3-star recruit 2023, had, BYU, Colorado State, Oregon State as some offers, got in there as a true freshman, 424 snaps. Last season as a sophomore, started all 14 games, led the team, Mike Prater, in snaps, 899 snaps, played more than anybody else on the entire team last year. Ty Benefield, he played all but 40 snaps of possible snaps last season, and some of those were blowouts and things. But the Ty Benefield was pretty much out there on every play of the game that he could be out there for in terms of defense, special teams, whatever. And these numbers, again, coming from Nathan Carroll, who does a tremendous job. It was good to see Nathan there Thursday and Friday as well, hanging out with us. And Nathan Carroll, BroncoNationNews.com. You can read his numbers coming from Pro Football Focus. We appreciate Nathan. And if you're a subscriber, you can read a lot of this at BroncoNationNews.com. I'm not going to give all the stuff away, but obviously, Mike, secondary struggled last season at times in the pass defense, and Ty is one of those kind of leader stars of those group. He was honorable mention All Mountain West last year. He played 374 snaps as a deep safety, 317 snaps in the slot, and 195 snaps in the box. So he played all 3 spots. Really, they moved him around. He kind of Nathan kind of referred to him as kind of like that chess piece that they were kind of using there defensively. And again, 374 as a deep safety, 317 in the slot, and 195 in the box. So he was, 2 years ago, he was more used in the Alexander Tubner role. It said as a freshman, 45% of his snaps came in the box, and that dropped to 22% last year. So he instead played 42% as the deep safety. In his freshman year, it was just 14%. So he was used more as a traditional safety than he was his freshman year. Hey, had a solid season. There's some other numbers we can get to, but overall, Ty Benefield, what he did last year, his ceiling, his trajectory this year. I mean, he was one of those guys, Mike, I was really worried about the transfer portal, somebody coming in. And I remember talking to him. He was literally in tears after the Fiesta Bowl. I was down there in the media room, and I'm talking to him one-on-one, and he's literally in tears talking about not getting to play with Tubner again and some of these guys. And part of the reason I thought he was in tears was he may have thought he may not be here again next year with the money and everything being thrown his way. And I don't have any kind of concrete details on schools or money, but I would have to imagine a young guy, emerging guy like Ty Benefield would have had some serious interest in the transfer portal. For him to be here, he's number 5 on our list. I think he's set for a monster season. He's a huge part of this team and this defense.
100%. And when we did our most important list, he was the number 1 defensive guy. And I'm not sure if you have a defensive guy left in your top 5, but we'll get to that later on in the week. But Ty Benefield and the importance of him on this football team is massive. And the best part, the most exciting part for me is because of all those things you just said, and they're all beautifully accurate and well said. To me, there's so much more in terms of what this dude can do. I really think he's got an NFL body. I think he's got an NFL mentality. I think he's got an NFL skill set that can go off and play in the National Football League, and we'll see how that plays out after this season. But Ty Benefield, what he can do on the football field is so versatile and so amazing that I expect more out of him this year. He was a All Mountain West honorable mention last year. Are you kidding me? He led Boise State in tackles and interceptions. Now that's probably the part of the problem. You don't necessarily want your free safety leading the team in tackles. We'll see how it plays out this year. Leading the team in interceptions is great. He had two. And Ty Benefield is an unbelievable athlete and a great playmaker. And this was part of the problem with the entire defense last year, the takeaways and the lack of turnovers. Ty Benefield needs to be a 4, 5, 6 interception guy, and he needs to be running around. His tackles will take care of themselves. He plays the free safety because he can be on the wide side and roam around and do all those versatile things that Nathan Carroll was talking about in his story. But He just needs to be able to be a ball hawking guy. And I also want to see some sacks out of him. I think he had 3 or 4 sacks 2 years ago. I'm not sure he even had a sack last year. The way that you can line this dude up, and it's going to be really fun when they put him out there with Devon Banks at the nickel. Can you imagine Devon Banks and Ty Benefield coming at you in all different kinds of crazy areas, going after the quarterback? That's the kind of excitement I want to see from these guys this coming season, BJ.
Now, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but some of the stats were not pretty for Ty Benefield last year. When you look at some of the analytical numbers, you just said the sack number dropping, and as Nathan kind of points out, that he thought Benefield took a slight step back in the new role. He said excellent size for a safety, which is maximized when he's near the line of scrimmage or in the run game, helping whether it's man up tight ends or stepping down as a robber in zone coverage. But he said the data backs it up. He had 5 pass breakups and did not allow a touchdown as a freshman. Last year, he allowed 6 touchdowns and only had 2 pass breakups last season. So, then that's despite doubling the snap count. So, doubled the snap count, but had just 2 pass breakups. He said, that the different role also hurt his tackling. He had a lot more open field tackles, as a deep safety, as you were talking about leading the team in tackles, Mike Prater, but his missed tackle rate, which, by the way, Boise State did have the most missed tackle rate. They were the worst tackling team in America last year by the numbers. But Ty Benefield,
wow.
His missed tackle rate went from 14.3% as a freshman to 17% as a sophomore. So he missed more tackles last year, as the rest of the defense pretty much did as well. But he's curious. He says, I'm curious to see if they move Benefield back closer to the line of scrimmage, or if he can take a leap as a deep safety with a year of experience in that role under his belt. So what do you see in terms of, they changed his role. The numbers weren't quite as good last year. Do you see him same role, different role? How do you kind of see them, as you're touched on earlier, using Ty Benefield? Because some of the numbers last year, like I said, unfortunately weren't great.
I loved his role last year, and I thought it was perfect, and that's exactly what I want to see this year. And without sitting there and having studied him a lot during spring camp, I suspect that it's going to be very, very similar to what he has now. I just need to see more production out of that. And maybe that's part of the reason why he was taking a step back in production last year, because he was playing different roles and had different responsibilities. This year, it's time to put it all together. It's time to take that role and put it all together, play different sides of the field, work the deep back part, and be more consistent. The consistency part is the number one issue with this defense, and that's all of the pass defense, the consistency. Everybody keeps saying that the pass defense last year was horrible. And if you look at it as a whole from a 32,000-foot angle and look at the stats, yeah, it was horrible. But it wasn't because you had 4 good plays and then you had a stupid play. Then you had 3 good plays and a stupid play. It was just the inconsistencies. It drove us crazy as the media guys. It drove fans crazy. I'm sure it drove the players and the coaches crazy. So I just need to be a lot more consistent in terms of the performance. And it really starts with Ty Benefield. I think he's the poster boy for this defense, the good and the bad. And if he doesn't come out, if he's honorable mention one more time, that's a major, major disappointment. And this football team's going to lose some games if he's not more dominant on that backside and more consistent with that defense.
BSU Bill saying, I'll be candid. I don't get the foregone conclusion that Benefield is going to be a stud. He consistently gave up big plays last year. He can be good, but hasn't shown it, quite frankly.
Hasn't shown the consistency. That's the main word. He has shown it plenty of times, but there are other times where he makes boneheaded plays or is nowhere to be found. That's the problem sometimes, just the scheme. I don't know if it's the scheme. I don't know if it's the players. I don't know if it's the execution. It was bad enough at times last year where I think all the above, and we're certainly going to keep an eye on that. I've always had a little bit of a problem with the secondary coaches and the schemes and some of the things that are run back there, but the players are at fault as well. So absolutely, this is a big, big part of this defense. This is a big, big part of this offseason challenge, is to get that football team shored up when it comes to that pass defense. So Ty Benefield is the NFL. He's got an NFL body. He's got NFL athleticism. He just needs to go off and show it. He can do it consistently for 14, 15 games for Boise State this year.
And that's why he's, number 5 on our list. If you're going to be playing on the field more than anybody else, whether it's good or whether it's bad, you're going to have a big impact on this defense. And so we'll get to this question, I guess, later on. Our next series looks at more big picture questions. What are the 20 biggest questions facing this team? And I'm sure one will be on the pass defense. But you think about Irby coming back, you think about McCoy coming back, you think about Banks coming back, and then you add in Mickey, and you've got Zion Washington, and you've got who we're just talking about here, Ty Benefield, and some of these guys. I mean, in 30 seconds or less here as we wrap this up, Mike. I mean, overall, just your first thought on this back 7 as a whole.
I think there's 5 really good starters. I love the Banks move to nickel. I think that's going to be fun. Benefield, we just talked about him, and the 2 cornerbacks and then the boundary safety in terms of Washington. Washington might be the weak link there, but the bigger weak link for me is the depth. The Ganter kid coming in from Eastern Washington, I know he had big numbers there. We've talked to some people from Eastern Washington on Idaho Sports Talk who absolutely love the Ganter kid, but he's a Big Sky transition guy. He can either explode and be awesome, or he can kind of struggle this entire season. The Mickey kid out of Notre Dame certainly brings a cornerback element into the table. I don't know if he's going to beat Irby or McCoy out for the starting job. So maybe the Mickey kid is more of a depth guy and then builds for the future. So I don't expect a lot of I don't expect a lot of production from him early on in this season. I think the depth of the secondary of Boise State's one of the weak links of this football team right now, because there really isn't a proven backup behind any one of these 5 positions: the nickel, the free safety, the boundary safety, and the 2 cornerbacks. Find me a quality backup at any one of those 5 positions, and I'll salute you, because I can't find it. I think it'll develop. I think some of it will happen, but by the end of the year, there's no way that they're going to have quality depth behind all 5 of those positions. I think going into this position or going into the season, it's still very much a position of concern.
Well, Ty Benefield, number 5 on our list. We'll count down the final 4 the rest of the week here on Bronco Nation News. Mike, you're going to be nice enough to come back on Thursday. Johnny is on vacation this week, so you're going to pop back on and fill in for him on Thursday as we get to number 2 on our list. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to listening. I guess you and Bob this week on Idaho Sports Talk.
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Me and Bob are going to talk about that. We're going to do some Lions stuff today. We got the radio play-by-play voice of the Detroit Lions coming on to talk about Ahmed Hassanin. We got a lot of Boise State football players still in camp. NFL camps are hot and heavy all this week, so cannot wait to see what Ashton Jeanty does. So a lot of NFL training camp stuff and just a lot of those guys. So it's a little bit of an off season, but I'm sure Bob will sneak in a little baseball talk here and there.
I hope so. And got the big Khalil Shakir event coming up this week, right?
Yeah, Khalil Shakir's golf tournament is on Saturday, so looking forward to that. We'll certainly wrap up to that. We've been talking to Khalil once a week leading up to his golf tournament. He'll be here on Friday for his kids' camp, Saturday for his golf tournament. I'm going to go out there and play in that golf tournament. BJ, check this out. My next column for Bronco Nation News, you know what? I haven't written the column yet, but I've written the headline, and it's one of my favorite headlines ever. And it's Prater, I bought a football player for a golf tournament. So I actually bought a Boise State football player to join my golf team at Khalil Shakir's golf tournament this coming weekend. Can't really identify who that player is yet. It's a wide receiver. We're working on a wide receiver because it is a Shaq event. But can you imagine in this day and age, just a sports writer or a talking goofball on YouTube can go out there and buy a Boise State football player, put him on his golf team, and go out there and compete. What a crazy world this is. So my headline for the column I'm going to write you, Prater bought a football player for a golf tournament, and we're going to write about that experience this weekend.
Am I going to be seeing the reimbursement request for that then?
It's not cheap. It's not cheap. So I may have to turn in an expense report. Do you have any open files? I've never turned in an expense report for BNN. Yeah, I need something.
That'll be fun. Looking forward to that. And all week on KTIK, you can listen to them 3 to 6 weekdays, 3 to 6. Idaho Sports Talk. Prater in the ball game, KTIK.com, 95.3 FM, 1350 AM. And they do a tremendous job. And we're very thankful to have you guys as partners, KTIK and Bronco Nation News here as we get through this month of June. And before we know it, we'll be heading down to Vegas for media days and ready to ramp up what should be another fun football season here as well. So, Mike, appreciate your time as always. We'll talk to you on Thursday. I'll be back tomorrow morning with Jay Tust as we go to number 4 on our list. And appreciate everybody. Again, go read Mike's column on Ashton Jeanty at BroncoNationNews.com. We've got all of our series of top 25 players up there on the website as well if you want to go read those. And have a great rest of your Monday. And listen to Idaho Sports Talk at 3 o'clock. And then Jay Tust and I will be back and do this again 9 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow. Again, Bronco Nation News, presentation of our title sponsor, Andy Rowe and RowePaint.com. Be on the lookout for that announcement today from the Blue and Orange store. Big doings happening. Cool stuff. Congratulations again to Travis Hawks. I think you guys will think that's pretty cool and a big deal when you hear it. And we'll talk to you later. We'll see you soon. Bronco Nation News live here at BroncoNationNews.com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RowePaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, The Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.